Yo, YouTube, what's up, man? So look, if you've ever seen the anime Monster, you already know. You already know what I'm finna get into, bro. Johan Liebert. I got beef with that nigga, bro. I'm sorry. I had beef with that nigga. Cause, bro, everything that happened to him is all cause Timma's a good fucking dude, bro. I couldn't have been Timma, nigga. That nigga would have been dead. But look, the philosophy of Johan Liebert, I think this nigga was a great villain because I hate him still to this day, bro. Let's get into it. Oh, shout out to Max Derek.
The devil exist? Note that I did not.
Bro, the way they foreshadow so much shit with that scary ass picture book, nigga. Monster was so good, bro.
Ask, does the devil exist? I asked, could.
Whoa! Dula Kimbo. Dula Kimbo, what's good, fam? Welcome to S Incorporated.
Could the devil exist? But for clarity's sake, I will answer both questions. Does the devil exist? If by that you mean does the epitome of all evil, as described in the Judeo-Christian tradition, exist somewhere out there in the cosmos or in hell beneath us, then I would have to say no. In my opinion, the devil does not exist. But could the devil exist? Could a devil-like entity be brought into being? Could the devil cross over from the realm of myth into the material world? I would say it is certainly more likely. I envision two scenarios where this could happen. One pathway is through artificial intelligence. I have speculated in past videos about the idea of birthing a devil or antichrist-like figure via AI, namely in my videos on the game Soma. If we go with the theory that human consciousness is computational, maybe there is an algorithmic recipe for the devil. The second pathway is through some combination of eugenics and psychological manipulation, though the recipe for that would not be as scientifically reliable, but maybe not impossible. Thankfully, we do not have the scientific or medical knowledge that would produce such a being, but there has been fictional speculation. One example is with the eugenically produced character Johan Liebert from Naoki Urasawa's masterpiece, Monster. Though I am a relative newcomer to the world of anime and manga, my understanding is that aside from
Yo, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'ma try. Oh, he bringing up Griffith. Ah, shit. It's gonna be a good video. I ain't gonna lie, I might not even be talking that much in this video, bro. Like, I don't want to just take this nigga video and just re-upload it, but I just want to hear what he got to say, because I got my own opinions about this shit.
Griffith, the lead antagonist of the Berserk series, Johan is widely recognized as the greatest villain of both mediums, and in my opinion, rightly so. At the very least, you can reliably expect to see Johan on all the top 10 lists of anime and manga villains. It is near impossible to list every reason why Johan merits his place on those lists. Those who have read or watched Monster know that Johan's evil is one that is easier to intuit rather than explain. But I can use a metaphor that will give you a general idea. Imagine every negative trait that you can: deceit, betrayal, resentment, hatred. Recall the times in your life that you have felt the most extreme form of those emotions. Now imagine all of those traits were a color. Now imagine that an artist threw all those hundreds of colors at a canvas. Eventually, all those colors would congeal into a singular blackness, and that blackness would be Johan.
Now hold on. I'm colorblind, so I ain't got shit to say, really. But if you mix all the colors together, don't that make like brown or some shit? Like, if you mix all the colors together, don't that shit make like brown? I'm pretty sure. Or like some form of brown, I don't know.
If you have never watched the anime or read the manga, the language I just used might seem overzealous or melodramatic. But those who have experienced the story of Monster know that the words I have chose were done for the sake...
this nigga had an opportunity to kill him right here. Bro, Timma was a fake demon with that gun, bro. I swear to God, everything I love, Timma was a fake demon. Cause he bought a gun. Niggas was on his ass cause they found out he bought a gun. He had this nigga in his sights and he didn't shoot! Bro, Timma, bro, this was the most prime opportunity to take that nigga out. Bro, look, bro, the amount of evil shit and the amount of people that died because of Johan, nigga, I'd take that charge, bro. I'd take that charge, just kill that nigga, fuck it. Like, bro, it's not worth it. Bro, he needs to die. I'm gonna say it. Johan needed to die. He needed to die, bro. And look, well, spoilers, but the anime been out forever, so it's kind of your fault for not seeing it. But at the end of the anime, it's left ambiguous as to what happened to Johan. My personal opinion, Narco, what's up, yo? What's good, bro? My personal opinion, I think Johan killed himself, bro. I think Johan killed himself whenever he was in the hospital. I think he jumped out the window and killed himself. Because I think the amount of times Timma saved him, that's what kept him coming back. You feel me? Obviously. But I think Johan killed himself at the end of Monster, bro. That's what I think. What's good, Narco? How you been, bro?
Of accuracy, and not exaggeration. Like the hypothetical artist who projects every color onto the canvas.
And then this nigga Johan looked at him, bro.
I and many other viewers are inclined to...
Bro, I was so fucking mad at Timma right here, bro. This nigga the whole time, I have to be the one to kill Johan. No, you can't come with me. I have a mission to do. And the nigga had him in his sights and didn't do shit! Monster was still a good anime. It was still good. But... Man, I wish Grimmer would have got his fucking hands on Johan, bro. I know Grimmer would have fucking murdered that nigga if he... Man.
Project every negative trait onto Johan, just as religious folk do with the devil. But unlike the devil, Johan, at least in the reality of Monster, is real. I wonder, what knowledge of evil did Urasawa possess that allowed him to...
Is this the writer of Monster? You are an evil man, nigga. You are a demented evil man. Was Johan a femboy? Low key. Cause the nigga dressed up as his sister one time and convincingly had the same voice as her. So low key, yeah.
To birth the devil in his story. How did he manage to write Johan in such a way that he would reliably compel the deepest feelings of disgust?
I ain't gonna lie, if I was able to write a character like Johan, I would low-key have nightmares about my own writing. Because the way I do shit is like, if I come up with a good idea or a good concept, I'll think about it for like the entire day. I'll go to sleep, I'll dream about it, and then it'll be like cool shit in my dream that I gotta write down, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I couldn't sleep if I wrote a character like Johan, bro. I think that's why I just can't physically do it. Like, I couldn't write a anime like Monster or Attack on Titan because I would be thinking of shit like whenever shit start making sense, I'll think of something else like, oh, wait, that would be cool, though. Like, that's why I can't do that shit, bro. Like, I couldn't write a character like Johan. Shout out to the author. Johan versus Gohan. What? I would sleep like a baby because I would be rich. True.
And horror from his audience. Finally, the most terrifying question of all is whether it is possible to replicate a personage like Johan in the real world. I will attempt to answer...
Hell yeah! Nigga, it's mad possible to recreate a Johan. Look, it's so easy to recreate what Johan did, but the problem is that you gotta find a motherfucker that's willing to go through all that shit. Like, you would have to birth a nigga for that purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could not know anything else about life other than this. He looks like XQC. We're halfway there. I see it. I see it like a little bit. Nah, bro. What does XQC be talking about? I know you be stuttering a lot.
All of those questions, but in order to do so, first I will introduce one of Urasawa's potential inspirations, one that seemingly many fans of Monster have overlooked for the past few decades. It is from that source of inspiration that we might be able to glean some of the ingredients
My goat
for that recipe of evil, and how those ingredients constitute Johan's psychology. Needless to say, there are spoilers ahead.
Let's get into
the overlooked form of inspiration is hinted at in episode 59 of the anime and chapter 124 of the manga. Here, we see Johan introduced to the other main villain of the series, Peter Chapek, a bureaucrat in
Bro, when this other nigga met Johan, he understood what a true evil nigga he is, bro. Johan was scaring grown ass men into doing what the fuck he wanted to do. He didn't have to be there. It was just the terrifying fact of what he could do. Like that, bro. Johan had aura, but I hate that nigga.
League with white supremacists. This meeting was made possible by the character Eva Heinemann, a character who managed.
Ava is a tortured soul, bro. I low-key didn't understand that at first when I first watched Monster. Ava is a tortured soul. Because everything that happened to her was never really her fault. Now, she was a bitch. She was a whole bitch throughout most of the anime. So that's kind of like but she was a bitch though. But, well, no, she was a bitch before it happened. Like, before her dad died, I think she was a bitch too. So, yeah. I don't want to say she got what was coming to her, but she kind of did. Like, I don't know. She's the most iffy character for me in Monster.
Just to find herself tied up with all the other main characters in the story. She pointed Johan out to Chapek at a party. Later that evening, after the party ends, Ava describes the meeting of these two men to one of Chapek's henchmen, Martin Riest. She describes that meeting as bringing together Mephistopheles and Faust. Unless you're German or a connoisseur of the arts, you're likely not going to understand that reference. Faust and Mephistopheles are characters from a German play titled Faust. Faust is one of the most influential works of German literature, written by a man who is essentially the German Shakespeare. His name is Johann Wolfgang von Goethe.
Yo, there's too many Johans in the world, bro. It's too many Johans in the world, bro. Yo, I'm real with you. Like, I'm just gonna be biased. If you name your kid Johan, that nigga worships the devil. I'm sorry. Like, it's just true. I don't care what you say. Oh no, he's a good kid. Don't care, bro. Like, ever since I watched Monster, every nigga that's named Johan is a bitch. He a whole devil worshiper, nigga. I don't care.
A man who just so happens to share the same first name as Monster's villain, and his middle name is the first name of a character named Grimmer.
My goat! My goat! Wolfgang Grimmer, nigga! It's my goat right there. Hell yeah.
Faust is the story of a man who wishes to attain infinite knowledge. In order to attain said knowledge, Faust sells his soul to an evil spirit named Mephistopheles. What follows are the inevitable consequences of making any sort of deal with a devil or demon. There are many reasons why Faust sits at the foundation of both German literature and—
Oh, fuck no. Look how these niggas look, bro. Look at them. I'd be scared to even act in this fucking movie, nigga. I'd be like, cause nah, bro, this nigga get in character, and you know them niggas was method acting back then, bro. Method acting ain't new. Bro, that nigga be method acting. I'll just be like, hey man, what's good? I hope we have a good day on set. I'll take your soul. I'll be like, bro, is he really possessed? Cause they was still killing witches back then. They was still burning witches and shit back then. So I'd be scared.
And culture. One of which is the fact that the story of Faust was refined to perfection over the course of 60 years. The final version was only published after Goethe's death at the age of 82. I imagine that one of the many reasons he was reticent to publish a final version during his time alive was that he wanted to perfect his depiction of evil within the character of Mephistopheles.
Bro, look at this nigga. Nah, bro. He got niggas in his closet, bro. He got skeletons. He got fucking bro. He got. I'm lost for words, to be honest. That nigga evil.
In order to understand how Goethe was able to write such an influential, despicable villain like Mephistopheles, it's important to keep in mind the culture that Goethe was a part of at the time and how that likely informed his writing. He was alive during the time of the French Revolution and the Enlightenment movement that revolution birthed. This was the time when the Judeo-Christian doctrine which undergirded Western civilization was starting to be effectively challenged, where age-old religious symbols like the god and the devil were starting to lose their potency, culminating in the Nietzschean death of God a century later. Goethe was influenced to a degree by these ideas. In regards to Christianity, he would draw upon Christian symbolism in his works, but he also despised the church. This is not to say that he had no interest in spirituality or religion, mind you. His views shifted broadly throughout his life, his interests at one time or another embracing Pietism, mysticism, the Kabbalah, alchemy, folklore, Neoplatonism, liberalism, and many other vogues. Goethe's experience with all these traditions and their views on evil no doubt had an
God damn, nigga head big. What the fuck? Nigga like Vegeta a little bit, bro. Golly.
no doubt had an influence on his conception of Mephistopheles. Some might say that Mephistopheles, like Johan, can simply be understood as an analog for the Christian devil, but the reality is far more complicated than that. Rather, Mephistopheles is a synthesis of all the aforementioned traditions and their understanding of evil. Mephistopheles is much too complex, diverse, and ambiguous to be identified with the Christian devil. Goethe kept the ambiguity pronounced, as part of Mephisto's function is to deny any dichotomy in nature, moral or otherwise. Mephistopheles appears both as the opponent of God and as the instrument of the divine will, as the creator of the material world and as God's subject. Despite these and many other contradictory traits that Mephistopheles possesses, it is possible to gain a general understanding of him by, once again, introducing a metaphor. He is fundamentally a nature spirit, representing the undifferentiated world as it presents itself to human experience. He is an invitation to the reader to face the multiplicity of reality.
So basically, that's that shit that they be talking about, bro. What's it called? Like the devil's temptation and shit like that. That's basically his whole thing. Well, from what it looked like, whenever he was explaining it earlier in the movie shit, he wanted, what the nigga want? Infinite knowledge. So he was like, okay, I can give you infinite knowledge. I can give you anything you want, but you gotta do something for me first. Like, shit like that.
Multiplicity reflects the painting metaphor I used before. He, like Johan, represents the blackness, the chaos, and all the negative traits that come along with it. The only purpose that chaotic force has is to negate all that is good or ordered. Mephistopheles says as much in what is arguably his most famous quote. When Faust asks Mephistopheles who he truly is, he replies, "I am the spirit that negates." And rightly so, for all that comes to be deserves to perish wretchedly. 'Twere better nothing would begin. Thus everything that your terms, sin, destruction, evil, represent, that is my proper element. If that quote and the previous descriptors were not enough to convince you of a connection between Mephistopheles and Johan, then consider the following. Both characters take on many different forms. Mephistopheles will take on the form of a wandering scholar, a magician, or even a poodle. Johann will dress up as his twin sister, and has even taken on other names like Franz Heinau, Michael Reichmann, and Eric Springer.
Franz, this was his first one right here.
One other form I neglected to mention that Mephistopheles took was that of the Emperor's Fool, which he did in order to urge disastrous social policies. I imagine Johann sought a similar type of destruction when he was aiming for control of Germany's economy, via the killing of Hans Schuwald and fraternizing with bureaucrats like Peter Chapek. The resemblance between both characters is uncanny. if for nothing else but for their core purpose. Unlike the vast majority of villains who commit evil deeds for either selfishness or what they view to be a noble cause, the sole aim of both characters is simply to negate, to destroy, for it would be better that life never existed. What I've noticed in my time analyzing villains online is that the villains that tend to be the most terrifying are not the ones who believe they're doing good, though there are several villains of that sort that are frightening and compelling. The villains that I tend to see bolstered as the most terrifying include Heath Ledger's Joker, Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men, Alex DeLarge from A Clockwork Orange, or Pazuzu from The Exorcist. They all act as if they are instruments of a divine will, as if they are acting out the will of chaos itself. Johan is no different. He, like Mephistopheles, will use his slick intelligence and superficial charm in order to have people and institutions perish in the most wretched and painful ways. He will kindly draw you in with false impressions of love and concern, only to expose your greatest weakness to you in the hopes that you will commit suicide. He will burn down a library of priceless books.
Bro, that was his whole thing right there. Like that shit with the kids right there. In my opinion, he wanted to do another, what was it? 511 Kinderheim? Or was it 155 Kinderheim? It's one of those. He wanted to do another thing like that with them. Because he taught them the game about going up on the roof and then walking across, and then the whole suicide game that he made them do. And the main kid that we found was the kid, his friend played the game with Johan and killed himself. But he saw it as something like righteous and, you know, all that shit because Johan fucking told him that. And they cheering, nigga. Like, he was trying to do the same thing they did to him, to them. Like, Johan was an evil nigga, bro. This is an evil nigga right here.
Manipulate an orphaned child into believing he isn't loved, all because he wishes for this shitty existence to disappear.
I'm telling you,
both characters
look, bro, watch y'all words, bro, especially around your children, bro. Watch your motherfucking words, nigga, because I'm telling you, it has an effect on them. They gonna make it seem like it don't, but it has an effect on them, my nigga. Like, and watch who talk to your kids too. Don't just let anybody talk to your children, bro. Like, I'm telling you, some of these teachers in these schools, they is not supposed to be teaching, nigga. I'm just letting you know.
Established. I return to the question that I asked at the beginning of this video. Could the devil exist? Though, given what I have just said, I think it would be better to reformulate the question to something like, could evil incarnate exist? Could Mephistopheles incarnate into someone like Johan in our reality? The exact recipe for such a being is unknown, but given how well Johan was written, it's worthwhile reviewing what made him into the person he is. Maybe by doing so, we can discover some clues, ones that will help us determine whether the results are replicable in reality. Just as Johan and Mephistopheles wish for nothing to exist.
Okay, so I don't know if I'm remembering this right or not, but I think I am. The reason why Johan is the way he is because, and I'm not going to say is the way he is. I'm going to say what I think because I don't remember 100%. The Red Rose Mansion was the biggest thing. It was like the biggest plot setting that could have ever happened in Monster, right? And when Nina, Johan's sister, finally went there, was Nina her name? It was one of her code names, I think. But when Nina went to the Red Rose Mansion, she had like this whole fucking, bro, the episode was crazy. She had like this whole flashback shit where she was like, fucking brain blast. Like she had that motherfucker. And it was revealed that she was the one that went to the Red Rose Mansion, not Johan, because Johan was dressed up as a girl whenever they took one of the children to the Red Rose Mansion, right? And the mother threw one out at first, hesitated, and then threw the other one out. And I think Johan's whole thing was, did she know which one of us was which? Because they look identical. Did she know which one of us was which? And she chose to send her? And then whenever Nina came back and told Johan about everything, it was kind of like how light reflects off a mirror or a magnifying glass and like burns shit. I think it was like that. Like the whole experience went off Nina and hit Johan so hard where he turned into that shit. He turned into what the fuck that was. I think I'm remembering that right.
This wish extends to their own being. On numerous occasions in Monster, we see Johan attempt to erase his existence.
Yeah, that was his whole thing too. He's trying to erase who Johan and what Johan was, so he could act as like just an agent of chaos, nigga. That's what I see it as.
There are two main methods he uses to do this. On the one hand...
Oh, bro! No. The Red Rose Mansion was one of the most important settings, but the fucking town at the end of the fucking series, yo, the fucking town was so goated, bruh. Cause I didn't understand it at first. But like a few episodes in, the shit kept getting better and better and better. I was like, yo, this shit is gas. Bro, I'm telling you, if you have a fascination with shit like psychological shit like this, watch Monster. I'm telling you, the most boring arc that you'll have to sit through is the one where Johan's like imitating a college student. But even that shit is interesting, bro. Just not much. I ain't gonna say not much. A lot of shit happens, but compared to the other parts of the story, not much really happens. Like in the beginning, if you just stick with it, you'll be hooked. I promise you'll be hooked. Bro, Monster is such a good anime, bro.
He attempts to kill everybody who knew him in life before he ultimately dies. This is kind of brilliant, because the only thing worse than having a killer get away with his heinous crimes is to not have a killer to blame those heinous crimes on. Even in a case where the killer got away with their crimes, like the Zodiac Killer, at least we have an image and a name to blame those killings on. In the case of Johan, he would have it so that the public would have to find a scapegoat.
See, and this is why I think at the end of the series, Johan killed himself, bro. Because I feel like his whole plan got fucked up because Tenma didn't shoot him, and the other nigga shot him. The guy of the son that Johan like was brainwashing or some shit. He shot him, so Johan got shot in the head again, right? But whenever he was in this hospital bed right here, I think whenever he sat up and like he looked at Tenma in the eyes, because that was a cold moment too. He looked at Tenma in the eyes and he said what he said, and then it seemed like Tenma was tripping because he went back to sleep. I think whenever Tenma left that room, I think Johan opened the window and killed himself, bro. I really think that, because I feel like that's like the ultimate like ending to his plan is him to die. Not only because I just hate the nigga, I really want him to die, I ain't gonna lie. But I think that was his ultimate plan. You feel me? Oh, also Tenma found out his real name too from his mother. So that could have also been, a thing to help that.
Which ideally would be existence itself. You would have to curse existence for not only allowing such unimaginable and horrific crimes to take place, but for the killer to completely evade the eye of those who would wish to do good. The other way he attempts to erase his existence is by striving for namelessness. Though he goes primarily by the name Johan, it is clear to me that he does so merely for convenience. He not only wishes to be nameless, but he seems incapable of adopting a name, for he has no firm sense of identity. Any sense of identity was engineered out of him before and after his birth. After all, he was born as a part of a eugenics experiment, one that would supposedly create a genetically superior being. A key component of making this experiment successful, apparently, would be making sure that he did not have a name. This is of the utmost importance. A name confers identity. Identity equates to individuality. And what confers our individual identity is that which makes us different from other individuals. How are your values different? How are your interests different?
Fat ass finger, bro. Like, who is he pointing at? He talking to y'all.
Those differential traits revolve like electrons around the central nucleus that is our name, our identity. Without a name or identity, without a sense of self, then what are you? You are nothingness. Now, what happens if you give that nothingness consciousness? You get a paradoxical being, like Johan, or Mephistopheles. They exist, but yet they don't. They live, but only to destroy. They can take one form, but that isn't their soul form. It is this paradox of being that elevates Johan and...
Bro, he ain't even talked about the picture book yet, bro. I don't know if you're gonna talk about it here or not. Bro, the fucking picture book Johan, where I'm guessing Johan got his name from. Well, I can't say guess because I finished the series, but like where Johan's name comes from, bro. That was the whole thing. The monster kept eating people and turning into them. But how did the fucking book go? The monster wanted the name. He split in two. The two monsters are Johan and Nina. One monster got a name. The other monster didn't, but he kept eating people to get a name. I think that's how it went. Bro, it's been a while since we watched it. I don't know. But, bro, this fucking anime is so good, bro. Like, I low-key want to rewatch it, but I need, like, someone to rewatch it with. Like, it's just like Naruto. I want to rewatch Naruto, but I want to rewatch Naruto with somebody. You know what I'm saying? So I can see their reaction. You feel me? Like, that would be fire.
Others of his ilk to the realm of not just profundity, but also divinity. It is not unusual to see paradoxes as expressions of the divine in religion, for example. Unities of opposites, like Baphomet, divine hermaphrodites, like Ardhanarishvara, or the merging of mortal flesh and divine substance in Jesus Christ. This trait is reflected in the most infernal way with Johan. Let us review how Johan achieved this paradoxical state of identity and non-identity. Again, in the earliest part of his life, he did not have a name. When Johan, his twin sister Nina, and his mother escaped the eugenics experiment, his mother ordered him to wear girls' clothes. This was done
Here we go.
so that it would be more difficult for those operating the experiment to find the family and take them back. It seems to me that forcing feminine clothes onto Johan contributed to his confused sense of identity.
And that's what I'm saying, bro. Nina was the one that went to the Red Rose Mansion, but when she came back and told Johan about it, it was like a magnifying glass. I remember what I said with the sun? It magnified onto Johan off of Nina. So all the trauma she went through, Johan in his mind, because like he said, Johan is a personality with consciousness. So he took everything Nina said face value that it was his trauma. So then he turned into that shit because of what happened. It even happened to him.
Identity, so much so that it made him susceptible to confusing his own memories for his sister's memories. Recall the moment in the series where Nina is re-kidnapped and then returns after weeks of further experimentation. Nina relays her painful memories to Johan, and then Johan adopts those memories as his own.
Yep.
Finally, there is the children's book, The Name...
Here we go. I ain't gonna lie. I low-key wanted a copy of this book whenever I finished Monster, but I couldn't find one, bro. No, that's a lie. I could find one, but I couldn't find one that looked exactly like the original. Like the one in the anime. Like, cause I know they sell it. I've seen a cover of it that looks the same. I wanted this book, bro. I want this book so bad still. But...
Monster, written by one of the forerunners of the eugenics experiment, Klaus Poppe. This book...
This motherfucker right here was... Bro, he was most wanted on Johan's list. This nigga right here was most wanted.
Book, amongst other books, were written to brainwash certain children so that they could become the genetic superior desired by the eugenicists. This book, along with the emphasis on namelessness and confusion with his sister Nina, permitted Johan's self-erasure. But even though Johan had no, let's say, traditional nucleus of identity, he needed something. If he could not put faith in the reality of his own existence, he would have to put his faith in a different reality. Even when everything about the world around us is in a Cartesian sense of doubt, the one reality that is hard to argue against is the unpleasantness of our own pain. From Johan's birth, pain and all the emotions it produces was the only surefire thing. There was the pain of being a part of a eugenics experiment, the pain of not having a father figure, the pain of having a confused identity. But the worst pain of all for Johan, as we know, was the memory of his mother. When his mother was rediscovered by those who conducted the eugenics experiment, she was forced to give up one of her children. Over the span of a few seconds, she chose Johan, but then chose Nina. Johan, for his entire life, was left to wonder if his mother knew who she was choosing in that moment. Even though some might argue that the mother had to make an impossible, Sophie's choice-like decision in that moment, and that she actually loved both children equally, that wouldn't negate the fact that this existence allowed for such a painful decision. Considering these circumstances, it is difficult to not feel sympathy for Johan. There are times in all of our—
Nah, I don't feel sympathy for this nigga, I ain't gonna lie. The fact that I understand his story makes it so his villainy, I don't give a fuck about that shit. I still hate that nigga. Like, bro, the amount of shit he caused, the amount of people he manipulated, bro. Even the bad niggas, quote unquote. I feel more sorry for them than I do for Johan. I'm not gonna lie. Like, Johan had a fucked up existence, and realistically, I shouldn't see him the same way I see old girl I was just talking about earlier, but I don't. Fuck that nigga.
Our lives, where we are completely taken out by suffering. So much so that we can't—
Bro, and then she a fake demon too, cause she had a blick on her, and y'all saw it. This bitch was pointing this shit straight at Johan. That nigga was just like where he got shot at the first time in his head right there. Bro, I would have made that nigga into Swiss cheese, bro. I would have saw the sunlight through that bitch. Like, bruh, I'm telling you, I couldn't be on no shit like this. Not only cause, like, black people don't do this. Like, I don't think there was a single nigga in this show. But then again, they're in Germany, so there's probably not gonna be. But I don't remember a single nigga in this show. Niggas don't do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, never mind. I was gonna say Grimmer was the closest thing to a nigga, but nah. Grimmer was just a good fucking dude, bro. Wolfgang Grimmer that's my goat right there.
Contemplate suicide. At least in those cases, we have a center we can return to. We can turn inward and nurture our identity. We will clutch our values like cornerstones and choose to act morally, even in the most challenging situations. Then, we can work our way up from the bottom. But Johan has no identity. He was born in the abyss. He is the abyss.
I was born in the dark, molded by it.
And the abyss has no center. Could Johan exist? Could evil incarnate in someone like him? Theoretically, yes. We've come close, what with the mass murderers of the 20th century and many others throughout.
My history knowledge is going to be tested right here. I know this is Hitler. Is this Stalin? I think that's Stalin, right? I'm gonna be real with y'all, bro. Neither of these niggas have anything on Johan. The crazy thing is, in the anime, they were talking about making Johan the new Hitler. If this nigga would have succeeded in what he was doing, not only, right, that was never Johan's plan to begin with, right? They wanted that for Johan. Johan didn't want that shit. He wasn't doing that shit. But let's just say Johan did go down that road, right? Like, to where his identity was that of molding into Hitler. He would have been a worse he would have been a worse Hitler than Hitler, bro. I'm telling you. He would have been a way worse Hitler than Hitler. I'm telling you, bro. This nigga Johan is... I don't remember what Stalin did. I know Stalin did some worse shit. I don't even know if this is Stalin. I think this is him. I'm not sure. But I don't remember what Stalin did, but I know he did bad shit. Johan would have shit on both of them, bro.
Throughout history. But even those men had values and identities. Thankfully, the exact circumstances to birth a mind like Johan's, natural or artificial, would have to be so precise that they might as well be impossible. Still.
See, I'm glad that, because whenever I was first beginning to watch Monster, I was thinking that it was going to be a thing of duality, like Johan had a double personality, and I really didn't want that to be the case. Because I think it would have been more interesting to do literally anything else other than that. Because I would have done something like that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say I can't write a character like this. Because I'll be thinking about that shit too much. But I'm so glad that the author went down this route with Johan. Because, bro, if they would have did like a duality personality thing, it would have been like, okay, well, we got the good Johan to help us. Or
it's unnerving to think that such an effective and sophisticated form of evil could incarnate in our reality. If that were to happen, what would we do to save ourselves from evil's whims? Well, the series actually...
See, that's what I'm saying right there. That's the kid that Johan was finna shoot and sacrifice, but the kid's dad shot Johan right here. So that's why I think Johan killed himself, because I feel like he wanted Tenma to shoot him. Well, I don't feel like shit. He wanted Tenma to shoot him right here, but Tenma didn't want to do it because Tenma's a doctor. I don't know if y'all, people who haven't seen it. Tenma's a doctor, so he can't take life with his hands, or he wants to, but he can't. But the father shot him, and I guess Johan, in my own headcanon, because the author left the ending ambiguous. Johan was like, that's not satisfying for me, so I know Tenma's not gonna do it now because he saved my life twice, tried to end it and couldn't. So now I'm gonna kill myself, because that was his ultimate plan, was to get everyone that knew Johan to not be alive anymore, and then Johan's gonna kill himself. Like that was just the kind of meaningless destruction he wanted. So that's why I think at the end of the story he killed himself, because it makes sense.
Tells us, for all the things that Johan was able to account for, he could not account for what would happen at the end of Monster. He wanted the series' protagonist, Dr. Tenma, to kill him. In doing this, he would complete what Nina referred to as his perfect suicide. Though Tenma, Nina, and a few others would attest to Johan's existence, it wouldn't be enough to prove that he was the committer of his crimes. In this moment, Tenma almost shot him, but instead, a local drunk pulled out a gun and shot him instead. But this wasn't the moment that Johan was unable to account for, though he certainly did not anticipate it. Rather, it was Dr. Tenma's decision following this incident. Dr. Tenma used his skills as—
Bro, I was so mad when he saved him, bro. Because at the end of the shit, I was like, of course Tenma's gonna fucking save him. Of course he's gonna do this stupid ass shit.
The most talented neurosurgeon in the country to extract the bullet from Johan's head and save him. To perform a surgery like this on a single occasion is borderline impossible. In Tenma's case, he did it twice, and on the same—
I'm telling you, Tenma is that nigga, bro. Tenma might be the best doctor, bro. Like, with no magic, no nothing, just knowledge, nigga. Tenma might be the best doctor in anime.
person. Johan suffered the same gunshot wound to the head as a child, and was saved by Tenma. Consider the power of this deed for a moment. Granted, killing Johan would have been understandable and forgivable, given his monstrous deeds. But I wonder if that would have been the right decision.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about the side effects of killing Johan that might inflict Tenma's soul. I think that affirming the value of Johan's life, despite his deeds, and saving him from certain death twice, might be the miraculous act that would break Johan out of his nihilistic pit. To do so would demonstrate the eternal upper hand that love has over hate, how it could triumph over even the devil. And the choice to preserve life, even in the face of the infinite abyss, is a power that every human being possesses. Even if the devil could exist, we would all have the power to say no to his whims. We just have to hope that whenever our soul is on the line, that we, like Dr. Tenma, make the right decision.
Now, do I think Dr. Tenma made the right decision? Yeah. Do I think he should have shot him? Yeah. You know, like I'm just keeping it real though, bruh. Like, whatever. W fucking video, man. Nah, that's good fucking videos right there. Good fucking video, bruh. Love that shit. Hold up. What's his channel's name again? Max Derot. Max Derot. Hey, Max. Shout out to you, bro. That nigga does not need a shout out from me. I don't know why the fuck I even said that shit, bro. But hey, look, if you enjoyed this video, shout out to you. I know you need it. I'm joking. I don't know who watching this video. But look, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And send this video to your grandma, nigga.